The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
The role of a woman in the society is to submit. Birth control are the pills of the devil. Education is so fundamental to the development of a people. Hang murderers. Simple as that. What am I voting for? Voting will change nothing.
Tout le monde haïtien, como ye. God save the Queen.
Broadcasting live from ILTV here in Nassau, Bahamas. Welcome to Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace here in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And praise the Lord, at a time when I need a spiritual advisor, because the forces of evil has been unleashed and the country is slowly progressing towards political violence. I told you the story yesterday, how two supporters of the Free National Movement has attempted to intimidate me, and they did it publicly. Well, today, a provocative FNM leader, Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis, is not interested in justice, in fair play. And because of the fact that he's not interested in peace, the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, the chairman emeritus, Mr. Minky Isaac, a man who has always been known to be peaceful, is now saying that if the Prime Minister had said those dirty, nasty things about him in his face, he would have struck him. Lord Jesus, my spiritual advisor, I need you to pray throughout this show and to read God's holy word, because Minnis is threatening to cause political violence. And we haven't had violence in this country since 1972. And my spiritual advisor, listen, I'm a Justice of the Peace. I'm opposed to violence. I want a peaceful society. And so I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you, Senator.
Welcome, my spiritual advisor.
Thank you, Mr. Monker.
To Freedom March. It is like the devil has been let out from the depths of hell. And the people who are dressed in red, it's like if they are Lucifer children. Dr. Minnis is a confessed member of the Holy Roman Catholic Church. And Arrington Minky Isaac, he is a confessed member of the Anglican Church, another Catholic denomination. If this continue, it means that the Archbishop of the Catholic Church and the Bishop of the Anglican Church is going to have to speak to two of their members, because the country should not head in the direction of violence. It's already a violence country. It's already a lawless nation where the Negroes, particularly our young men, have no respect for the rule of law. And so the question is, will we head once again along that dirty, will we travel along the 1972? In the course of it, I'm going to tell you how the FNM fired bullets at the PLP. I'm going to tell you how the FNM burned down PLP headquarters. I shall also tell you how the PLP burned down some of their headquarters. Y'all were small, but I'm going to tell y'all, this is Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monker.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live here in Nassau, Bahamas on ILTV. You can join us on cable 224 and BTC Flow 112. You can also join us on ILTV.com Facebook page. I'm also sharing that on my Facebook page, Rodney Monker. My spiritual advisor is Bradley Roll. Bradley, I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you very much, Senator, as always.
I'm going to need you to pray because the country is heading. It is as if the gates of hell has opened. And we're going to talk about that, my spiritual advisor.
Absolutely.
Shortly before I came on air, I received a private call on my personal cell phone, 434-5760, in which a Negro lady from the great constituency of Roxanne, it's on the island of Eleuthera, she called to complain. She says that there is local government election taking place. Her husband is cancer stricken. She recalled that during the general election, there was a blind elderly lady who had difficulty walking, and the then presiding officer, whom she identified, she claimed that that presiding officer came outside of the polling station, accompanied by the policeman and election agents from both sides of the two political parties, and the elderly lady was allowed to cast her ballot. In the case of her husband, she claims that he's just returned from the United States of America, having received cancer treatment. He wishes to exercise his franchise to vote, and they have requested if this presiding officer would be accommodating and come outside and allow him to cast his ballot. But she, meaning the presiding officer, is alleged to have objected to it. The lady claims that she complained to the administrator, who advised her that he cannot interfere. It is the presiding officer who has the final say. Well, I decided that she seems to be extremely upset, and I said to her, listen, mobilize some men and see if you are able to lift your husband into the polling station so that he could cast his vote. For those of you who are living in the great constituency of Roxanne, the man, his name is Barry Ward, and his wife, she called me seconds ago. I really hope that this matter can be resolved in a very amicable manner, and that Mr. Ward would be permitted to exercise his franchise. My spiritual advisor, any views, any comment on that observation?
None at all.
Okay. Well, we know that the budget debate is taking place. And praise the Lord, I'm now in possession, my spiritual advisor, of the contribution of various PLP representatives. Because, you know, I'm pushing opposition. Because if you look at all of the talk shows, they are anti-PLP, they are anti-opposition, and they're not fairly covering it. So, thank God, I'm in possession now of the speech of the leader of the opposition. Because here on Freedom March, the opposition is important, and I have a duty, my spiritual advisor, as one of Her Majesty's Justices of the Peace, and as an FNM, who recognize that crooks and gangsters have taken over. I have a duty to expose them. You hear me? I have a duty. But before I look at the speech of the leader of the opposition, I want to go to a comment in the Tribune. And if anybody knows the Negro male, Jonathan Ash, who is the businessman that Menace and the F&M seems to have a problem with making $8 million. You say to Jonathan Ash that I wish to see him. And in case he's too busy, I'm going to give him some advice live. Jonathan Ash, you're not a politician. You are a businessman. When you see a government and politician bringing your business openly, you keep your mouth closed. When the Tribune call you, you have no comment. You're a businessman. Don't discuss your business publicly. You go and you seek legal advice because you are a businessman. And secondly, you're black. Listen to me. You are black. You sound, from all the things that they've said, it sounds as if you are a Negro man. And they don't want Negroes to make no money. Okay? So I've seen some comments that the Tribune attributed to you. And if I was advising you, I would say to you that you need not defend anything. If you perform a service and the government then pay you, I hope you put something in the church. Pay your tithes. My spiritual advisor, I think he should keep quiet. He should seek legal advice because political games. And praise the Lord, I have the Aguilar. And I'm going to make a public appeal to the leader of the opposition in the District of New Providence. Has appeared before me a Negro man who has revealed confidential information that may show a different light on the Minister of Tourism because of the quasi-politics and legal position. I petition you publicly. I need to see you. And I ain't got time, and I say this respectfully, I don't have time to make an appointment. Please, I don't know if the host is meeting tomorrow, but I will come to your office because this information is of a quasi-political nature, and I need you to see it so that I can get what I call quasi-political advice. Because if this information is true, there will be a new light on the Anuncio de Aguilar. Got him. And I'm talking about one of the first sins that Bradley Robert identified that he committed. So I shall name it Code First Sin. It's one of his first sins. And we will test Menace. But you will determine for me if you think that this information, because it has a legal flair in it, but by grab, it will tell us that the F&M is not serious about establishing the people's time, my spiritual advisor.
Let me ask you a question, Senator, and I want to throw a twist into this conversation here, right? Has it ever dawned on you to ask this question? Why is it that one particular vendor was given $8 million worth of hurricane cleanup work? Because I did some assessment in my mind. I said to myself, suppose 80 contractors was given $100,000 worth of cleanup work. That would amount to $8 million. So I'm saying, why is it that this one particular vendor is given $8 million worth of cleanup?
There is only one contract.
And I'll say this.
There's only one contract, my spiritual advisor.
I don't want to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
I'll say this much, right?
Yes.
That in 2008, under the leadership of the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram, when he launched an island-wide cleanup under the Ministry of Environment, everybody was given an opportunity to produce documents and get a contract. So Hubert Ingram spread the wealth around. I just find it interesting that this one particular person is given $8 million worth of cleanup work. It just doesn't seem right to me, and that's my opinion?
Well, my spiritual advisor, Dr. Minnis, has not been able to account for $12 million. You see how you're not fair?
Why you say that?
You talk about a Negro man who was paid the $8 million. But by grab, Minnis had the $12 million. And by grab, he's not given us an account for that.
I'm not saying that the guy didn't do any work or that he was not contracted, but I'm just saying, you know.
I say,
one vendor.
what?
$8 million.
One minister give himself and maintain his own contract. What about that? You want to persecute
Who are
the
you
poor minister?
Oh, you're talking about the start care?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's one sin. And what is the next sin? $12 million that Minnis has not been able to give us an accounting of. You see what we up against? If Minnis wants to come to equity, he must come with his two hands wash as clean as snow. He can't accuse anybody of corruption, because if it was not a sin, I would have said he should have been named.
But is he accusing anybody of corruption?
But he is. By identifying this man of having received $8 million, Dr. Minnis has now opened him up to armed robbery. Listen to me.
I don't know.
You take it from me. I'm the justice of the peace. I live over the hill. Minnis could have referred to this matter using the corporate name. And Minnis has established, of all the trading names that this young man allegedly used, there was a company that was incorporated. But Minnis identified him. Now, I know that there's a Negro man that the Prime Minister say has $8 million.
Well, listen, the government has made a pledge to the people that they're going to be transparent in their governance.
But transparency must start at the nation's leader. Minnis has not divested himself of the contract.
He did disclose.
My spiritual advisor.
He did disclose it, though.
In accordance with the law, I am the justice of the peace.
Okay.
He did not disclose.
He
did not put it in his he did not put it in his public disclosure.
When?
From he got it.
Okay. But he did recently.
His disclosure is unlawful.
Why do you say that?
Because he needed the approval of the House of Assembly by resolution.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
God have mercy on my soul.
I understand your point. Yes.
Well, that's what it is.
I understand your point.
Leslie Miller, notwithstanding that Leslie is reported to have gotten millions of dollars from the Bank of the Bahamas. But he ain't got to worry about that, because Minnis can protect him. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, he's going to protect him. He's going to protect him. Because Leslie and Dr. Minnis is one. You don't believe that, eh? Okay. They're one. And all I'm saying here is simply this. Minnis is looking at the $8 million. But he doesn't tell us that he will hold an investigation on how $12 million was mismanaged and cannot be accounted for. That's the point I'm making. All right? Now, we have a 69-year-old man who is threatening that if Minnis had said this in his presence, he would have punched him.
And that's wrong. And that's wrong. Mr. Monka, we have to, in this country today, we have to make up our minds that we're going to have to respect the authority. The office of the Prime Minister is one of the highest offices in the land, and it should be respected. I think, in my opinion, that Menke Isaacs, he should apologize to the Prime Minister for those statements.
Now,
and I also believe that the police should get involved and should talk to him or question him, because in this country, we don't want to progress to violence. We're trying to build a country where we can build wholesome talk and citizenship.
He did not say, I am going to strike him.
Well, what did he say?
He said, if I was present when he said those things, I would strike him.
What does that mean?
Huh?
What does that mean?
Well,
that sounds like a threat to me.
If he was present, when he said it. Menace done say it, and he was not present. I'm not supporting violence.
But I'm just hoping
right?
you can't find a right in that statement of Mr. Monica.
My brother,
let's be honest and fair.
There is no right taking place in the Honorable
He should
House of
apologize.
Assembly.
I believe he should.
Because Menace is playing a deadly game that is leading for the first time. I'm at the mall at Marathon and openly 2 Negro thugs threaten me.
Which is wrong.
Right?
Which is wrong.
Okay.
Nobody should be
And
threatening
what is the
anybody
point
in
that
this
I'm
country.
making? Menace is about to lead this country on the brink of violence.
Well, we have to diffuse it.
But I'm the justice of the peace.
We have to diffuse it.
I don't want no violence.
Okay.
So you have to speak to Menace and say to Menace that offense will be. Go ahead, my spiritual
Yeah, but
advisor.
woe through whom they come. Yeah, I understand.
Let's try it one more time. Let's say it to Menace one more time.
No, listen.
Hold on, my spiritual advisor. Offense will be.
Okay, they will come.
But
woe
woe
through whom they do come.
Yes.
Yeah, I understand
And
that.
the offender, the great offender, is Dr. Menace. Dr. Menace done get his cut. Dr. Menace done get his money for 10 years.
Let me ask you a question. Why are you constantly harping on our Prime Minister?
Because we are
and
talking.
He's me and your Prime Minister, but you're constantly...
Because my
you
Prime
won't
Minister,
give this man a break.
Hubert Alexander Ingram, praise the Lord, told me, he sucked his teeth. He could not believe that Menace was so corrupt that he did not divest himself.
And I blame Papa for it too.
Well, I'm not going to blame
Because he
Papa.
should have made sure that it happened. Knowing the kind of person the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram is, he was hands-on man.
But he taught
He
Menace-
should have gone back. Now, you can't
He
blame...
taught-
He should have gone back and checked.
He is treating
He should have
Menace
go back and check
the
and
way
make
I
sure...
treat you.
With trust.
I believe you are clean.
You trust me.
I believe you are clean. I believe you have, you are above suspicions. And Papa's right. Papa's right. Papa's second
Listen,
state.
Mr. Monica.
So let Menace start telling us, 1, when you can get rid of the contract. 2, Carl, is he investigating you? 3, did Carl consistently disclose? We have no way of knowing that because they are going to hide that information. Don't forget now, these are Negroes. And I told the country, this election was about the gangsters you love. Because if you listen, the FNM has accused the PLP of gangsterism. And the PLP is now showing that the FNM, they are the true gangsters.
And you've said that Papa said that gangsters on both sides, right?
Papa told me. In fact, Papa named all the FNM gangsters. I can miss and slip today. Papa, if I miss and slip, will you confirm who these gangsters are?
You better don't do that because
Like I put my
Papa's
trust.
on Menace's side now, so
Listen,
he may turn.
Papa's on whose side?
He's on Menace's side.
Papa's on Papa's side. Because me and Papa was supposed to veil up Menace's backside. Papa, look what you have unleashed on the country. The forces of evil.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. Views and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live from IL Studios here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker, and I'm joined by Mr. Bradley Roll, my spiritual advisor and a biblical scholar. My spiritual advisor, I expect you to cut things straight, you know.
Let's do it.
You know?
Let's do it.
This is our country.
Absolutely.
And we can't have the Prime Minister taking the country on the brink of violence. Okay? You have to cut things straight. Just cut it straight.
I understand that.
That's all I want to say.
We must all do as far as possible whatever leads to peace and mutual edification.
Amen.
That's extremely important.
That is fine. That's good. Well, I have the speech from the leader of the opposition, which I think it is important for the country to hear and for PLPs in particular to hear, because the rest of the media, they're crooked, and they're against the PLP. All right? This budget speech from the Deputy Prime Minister, I want you to hear a little something here. When he spoke to the Honorable House of Assembly, I think it was on the 19th of June, this is a portion of his contribution. I'm going to be going through it for all into next week. And this is what I found very interesting. And he says, what we look for in a responsible budget. So if the budget is responsible, there are certain things that you look for. And it will tell you the direction that the government is taking the nation. So I'm going to read something. He said, Mr. Speaker, I now turn to the budget which the government has laid before the House. The budget is the best expression of the intentions of the government. It speaks to their priorities. It speaks to the importance they attach to those priorities. It speaks to their policies and how they intend to implement them. And more importantly, it speaks to the promises they are making to the Bahamian people about how they seek to improve their lives. Mr. Speaker, it gives me no pleasure to conclude that this budget is severely lacking. It is defective in two main respects. Let me repeat it again. It is defective in two main respects. Firstly, it portrays the fact that this FNM still has no vision, no policies, and no plan. Secondly, Mr. Davis said, it also portrays the fact that despite the new faces among them and the clamor for change from the country, this is still the same old FNM, mudslinging, half-truths, peddling broken promises, prioritizing paybacks to their rich associates and political backers, and steep in conflicts of interest by offering tax reliefs to themselves, their families, and their friends. Now, of course, Mr. Davis was being decent. He should have also said unto their lovers, but he decided he was not going to play gutter politics with them. So I go back to some of the things that Mr. Davis said. And when called to declare his interest in offering tax relief to his own airline business, it is inexcusable for the member, and he's talking about Peter Turnquest, the Minister of Finance, who made sure that plane with him and Randy on get all the concession. All right? That's corruption. See, if you are the Minister of Finance and you give yourself personal concessions and you even don't admit it. See, if I was Minister of Finance and I decided I needed a new taxi and I was going to give concession, I would say, Mr. Speaker, you know, I got a taxi.
Yeah, but didn't the concession, doesn't it apply across the board as it relates to aviation?
But I don't own no plane.
Yeah, but...
Hold on a second.
But Mr. Monken...
I don't own no plane. This is for Peter. This is for Peter. And the Deputy Prime Minister...
But in all...
The leader of the opposition, don't distract me yet, my spiritual advisor.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to have you comment on it.
Okay.
Because I'm going to test you. I'm going to see out of righteousness, which exalts a nation.
And sentence reproach.
Which one you will choose.
Okay.
And so let's look at what the leader of the opposition pointed out. He said it is inexcusable for the Minister of Finance not to accept ownership of his budget, as has been apparent during the course of this debate. This is apparent from the minister's response when it was pointed out by the member for Angliston, Glennis Hannah Martin, that he failed to declare his interest in Sky Bahamas. an airline that will benefit from the tax breaks, which he announced. That's corruption. My spiritual advisor, that's corruption. What is corruption? Corruption is when a person fails to do the thing that he knows he ought to do, then there's an erosion and a corruption of principle. So that's corruption. Corruption number one. Okay? Don't mind, I'm an F&M. I can see corruption because Papa told me how to identify it. And all through the F&M, it's corruption.
But do you know how many Bahamian airlines operate out of LPIA?
My spiritual advisor.
Do you know how many Bahamian airlines
All I
operate?
know is Peter owned the airline. Okay? Now, he says to us that, but he failed. Mr. Davis points out that when Glennis Hanna Mata pointed out that Peter owned Sky Bahamas, an airline that would benefit from the tax breaks, which he announced, such decisions are approved by the cabinet. If we are to make the Minister of if we are to take the Minister of Finance at face value and accept his suggestion that some nameless, faceless person wrote that budget speech for him and that he only became aware of this benefit when he read the speech, it is a breathtaking admission of recklessness.
I understand that.
He say he ain't know
He was not aware of what was in the budget.
So he ain't know write it. You see how irresponsible the F&M is? They come to a whole parliament with a budget. When Peter was reading it, I was by a certain friend's house, and his wife said, you see how Peter's so smart? She was proud. Listen, if Peter wasn't the deputy prime minister and didn't have the power to jail me, I would have said Peter's corrupt. Because that's corruption. How the heck you could bring a whole budget? Huh? The first thing you should do, there's nothing wrong with getting someone who's more educated than you to assist you in preparing your speech. But once they give it to you, it's your speech. And you have a duty to read it. And Peter read everything except when it came to his concession.
And that would be read it prior to going to the House, right?
But of course.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
But he don't know who wrote it. Okay?
You believe that?
Well, this is a matter, according to Mr. Davis, of basic responsibility. And you want to know if I believe that my deputy prime minister
Didn't know.
didn't know? Yeah, I believe he didn't know.
Okay.
These are grossly incompetent Negroes. I believe he didn't know. Somebody gave this to him and he just decided he can read it. All right? And then Mr. Davis said how he recalled in 2012 when we went into government that the policy proposals of the previous F&M government were brought to the cabinet and we had the option to adopt or reject any of their proposals. That was responsible PLP leadership. But if you listen to what the Deputy Prime Minister says, whatever was passed to them, they read. All right? Disowning, Mr. Davis said, the budget raises the specter of credibility. Because who then was responsible for all the political bluster, the grandstanding, and the posturing, the demonizing, the finger pointing, and the blame game that characterized the budget communication? More frighteningly, if the Minister of Finance isn't in charge, who is running the economy? Well, Mr. Davis, I would want to add, and who's running the country? Who is? Must he save the bay? Must he them?
Well, be careful of that, eh?
Putting the facts straight, the Bahamas is in good economic health. And Mr. Davis say, taking out all of the political bluster of the budget communication, it still confesses that the key national performance indicators that are used to determine the economic health of the country, the key national performance indicators have not only improved, but they're also heading in the right direction. You see? And he goes on, this is Mr. Davis, that in the face of the slurs and cheap innuendo made by the FNM, the data, the evidence, these key indicators, the hard facts, they all speak to the prudent fiscal management of our PLP administration, Mr. Davis said. And he told the speaker, let me present a sample of those key performance indicators as set out in the government's own communication. Tourism arrival number, all right, which the government had at page 33. The consumer price inflation fell, all right. The current account deficit decline, the balance of payment improvement. And he tells them where they must look in their own budget. But Peter ain't know. Peter ain't know where it is, because he don't know who write the budget. You see how irresponsible these Negroes are? Goodness me, Peter, I'm so disappointed. The people in the FNN tell me you was a good accountant. So as a good accountant, I say, we could put the budget in your hand. Now a big grown man like you could come to the Honorable House of Assembly and start disowning. You want me to believe that you didn't know you was going to get concession for the plane? I'm certain if I was to ask Brother Randy Butler, your partner, he would say he know, because Randy's a saved man. Whatever you think about Randy, Randy don't lie.
That's still speculation, though.
What is speculation? My spiritual advisor, man, you better stop covering up for the FNM, you know.
I'm not covering
because minutes soon get overthrown. In the FNM, they're plotting against him.
Wow. Mr.
How you mean? I know. I was one of those who used to be plotting with him, you know. Plotting against him. I plot, Papa plot. All right?
Wow.
Yeah. Papa still have many of us hiding in the city. Now he got a lot of them hiding in the cabinet. You think Loretta fire you? We're waiting. I'm here in the city waiting for Papa to launch the second attack.
Well, that's propaganda again.
You call it propaganda. Menace knows that what I'm saying is true because Menace made sure that he had men at the convention waiting for Papa. And when we send that text to Papa telling him, don't show up. Papa, don't show up. Menace, no, you giggle. I talk it in a jokey manner so I could say it. Right? But Menace, no.
Well, Papa was smart. He know he's going to get beat. So
Papa is smart.
That's why he didn't show up.
Yeah. Right. So, Mr. Davis pointed out the contradictions in the FNM. And it's so important. And one of the things that Mr. Davis and the PLP, in their contribution, they pointed out how Dr. Menace was now taking care of Brent Simonet. See, now, whatever you think about Brent ain't a total Negro. Brent is like...
He's halfway?
No. He's like about a third Negro.
Okay.
All right? And the other two thirds are white.
Okay.
And so Brent is smart. See, Brent thinks that the rest of us are fools. So what you think Brent did? He made sure that Menace gave concession on bringing in the paint. Because Brent ain't like me and you. He take care of the children them. Get them little children all kind of stock in the bean company. So the leader of the opposition, they had to point out to Menace and to show Menace, man, listen, there's more conflict. And as a result of shaming Menace, shaming Brent, shaming Peter Turnquest, Philip Brave Davis was able to get them to reverse the concession.
I don't know if they reversed it, they may reduce it, from what I understand.
Well, my spiritual advisor, if they reduce it, it means then they're still looking out for Brent. That's conflict. And Brent should not be sitting in the cabinet. These fellas are taking care of themselves.
Yeah. I always question Brent Simmons' return to frontline politics, in all honesty. Because I'm saying to myself, if I have more than $156 million, I mean, really and truly, I would have no interest in politics, to be honest with you.
Well, the question is why Brent come back?
Yeah, I guess so. There has to be some hidden agenda.
Well, the agenda is an open secret.
Yeah, because one of the comments I didn't like about what Brent Simmons said is when he says, remember now, this building here on the highway across the road from
You're talking
Adelaide.
about the Town Center Mall.
Well, I'm not talking about the Town Center Mall. Just across the street from the A.F. Adley High School on the southern side, the government was supposed to move the post office there.
Oh, okay.
And Branson had made a very interesting comment.
What did he say?
He says that he believed the government can save millions of dollars by moving the post office to the Town Center Mall. And I thought that was strange.
Well, there's nothing strange about that.
That he would make a comment like that.
In 1995, I think it was, the F&M had intended to carry the court
to the Town Center Mall.
At the Town Center Mall.
I remember that. Yeah.
The F&M announced you could do your little shopping and tell the magistrate call your case. And I told them I wouldn't show up. All right? And the PLP had to case out Papa and show Papa how bad it was. Can you imagine? I'm on my way to jail. And I could do a little shopping. All right? And the F&M was always into that. And so Brent is right. Y'all give him the government. And that business, they need court there.
Yeah, so as it stands, I know...
Let me tell you what Brave Davis said. I don't hear from Brent.
Go ahead.
Because Brent ain't said. Mr. Speaker, Philip Brave Davis told the Honorable House of Assembly, permit me to put this in layman terms. Now we're talking to people like me. Tourist arrival numbers were up. Inflation, or the cost of living, was down. The amount we owed during the year was down. In trading with other countries, we earned more. We imported less. Our foreign currency savings went up. And more people were able to keep up with their debts. And Mr. Speaker, there is more. The F&M now in government has come full cycle on VAT. They now concede that VAT did in fact achieve its intended policy objectives, and that it was in fact good for the Bahamian economy. But remember, Minas and the Aguilar and the F&M, they said the PLP thieved the VAT money, $2 billion. And I said to them, listen, in order for the PLP to thieve $2 billion, you need the whole service, civil service, the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and the Defense Force to collude with them.
Yeah, I just felt that the PLP just shot themselves in the foot by not explaining to the public the reason why the VAT money was placed into the consolidated fund.
The law says that. Where's my constitution? You see, this is the problem. Yeah. When we are being dishonest, the law, the constitution, the law clearly tell us that when you collect the people them taxes, it must be put in the consolidated account. Today, there is a man who's smoking dope in the Ministry of Finance, and I don't care who don't like it, because the PLP didn't get rid of him. If you know that a man is smoking dope in the Ministry of Finance, can you imagine? If they're smoking dope in the Ministry of Finance, then the police catch you. But you tell the police, give the man a second chance. But the man wouldn't repent. I heard some of the best herbs if you run into some of them. So what happened? While some of them was high, you heard me? While some was high, they opened a second account. They opened a second account. That account is an F&M account. The man who opened that up, he's F&M. And when they find out it's something, they can cover up. That's what happened. But the PLP didn't listen to me. I rowed them last year. I said, listen, this is foolishness what they're doing. The man directed the treasurer not to accept the money. And they start funneling or laundering the money to another area which the law did not establish. But they ain't listen to me. They tried to destroy my reputation. Said, don't mind Monka. He crazy. He ain't know what he's saying. He ain't no lawyer. Meantime, I read the law, you know, and I cursed them out until they surrender. So, minister, that's him. It's easy. When you go into the finance, sneak in. I hear you can smell a little reefer every now and then.
Oh, Lord.
I don't care who don't like it. All right? That's who opened up the account. Let's call him Dopey. Dopey opened the account. All right? The PLP got outsmart. When I was running on, they wouldn't listen to me. They thought I was against them. I'm not against anybody. I just want good governance. You're smoking dope. All right? If you want to smoke your little dope, it's against the law.
Absolutely.
Don't come to work to smoke no grass and try not to be high. All right? They smoke dope. The police catch them. The police catch them smoking all kind of grass. This is twice in the history of the country. All right? They had a minister. Police catch the son in the minister's car under the first F&M. All right? Anyway, they just get me mad. Let me just stay focused because minister's talking about this second account and it's an F&M. All right? It's an F&M who established the second account. As they took the IDB money, they think I was stupid.
Wow.
Many days when I used to be standing up in the parking lot, the people them say, see Monica down there, be crazy self. I was there sniffing. Because when they say, man, you can smell a little grass, I couldn't believe it. So I stand up to see if I could smell a little grass. All right? So that's who did it, Minister. The F&M fella in the Ministry of Finance. All right? So, Brave Davis point out that the F&M always knew where the VAT money was. You could only rob the treasury. You wait for the boy daddy.
No.
Warren McCartney daddy.
Mr. Monica, I mean,
right?
Why we got to go there, though?
They had bear box. I can figure out why you want to keep money in bear box. And one day, they had a couple of bear box full of money. All right? I used to go in the treasury, you know. Watch out for me. And when I go to the treasury, I used to say, boy, they drink a lot of beer. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought they were drinking beer. Poor me, I didn't know that they had all them box of money stocked. And by the grab, one day, Warren McCartney daddy.
Don't say that, man.
One day, tout le monde haïtien.
You can get sued, you know.
Yon jou. Papa, Warren McCartney.
You can get sued.
Zami, Papa Lee. Lale na treasury. And yo, porte en pile boîte de beer. And $16 million. $16 million! And my spiritual advisor, did you not sell ice cream for his daddy? Go ahead, deny it. Did you ever tell the nation I'm a liar? Did you ever sell ice cream?
I managed a few of his stores.
Right. Was it ice cream?
Ice cream stores, yes.
And they melt about $8 to $9 million. And when I showed up, I'm a taxi driver. Always have Americans. The Americans are sweet mouth. Driver, can we have some ice cream?
You're not doing Warren McCartney justice, you know. That's
Driver,
wrong. That is wrong. That's wrong,
hold on, my
Senator.
spiritual advisor. Driver, can I have some ice cream? I said, yes. Right over there. Come, tourists. I take the tourists there, and they buy all kind of ice cream. One thing about the Americans now, they buy ice cream. They buy ice cream, but the F&M decided that in order to win, they would tell the country that the PLP stole $2 billion. And these Negroes, they accept it. I hate to say it, but in a stupid self. I can understand if ministers them to say they steal 50,000, maybe $1 million, but $2 billion? You know what's $2 billion, my spiritual advisor?
Well, Hubert Ingram did clear the PLP government.
Yeah, but that's because I had to case Papa out and say, Papa, you told me that Christie was not corrupt. How do you think I get over here? Papa sent me here to help the PLP out. This is Freedom March. My name is Rodney Monica. When I come back, I can tell you a little bit more about Philip Brave Davis and how they exposed the Lion F&M. Bunch of lions.
Freedom March with Rodney Monker will be right back after this. This is Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live here on islandistv.com here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker. I'm a Justice of the Peace, and of course, my spiritual advisor and biblical scholar, Bradley Roll, is here. Bradley, welcome to Freedom March.
Thank you, Mr. Monker.
You would agree that corruption is a terrible thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you were investigating the opposition for corruption, how would you deal with it?
If I was investigating the opposition for corruption?
Yes.
Well, I'll have to start at the top
Okay.
to find out, what's going on. It all depends on what I'm looking for, too.
Okay. I have a phone call. Welcome to Freedom March.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monker,
Hello, my dear. How are you?
and to your spiritual advisor.
Hi, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm good. Mr. Monker,
Yes.
God is good.
God
I
is good.
listened to you, and, it tore me up. It really tore me up a bit. But I want you to just put your trust in God.
I will.
And I want you to look at Psalms 125,
Yes.
which says, they that trust in the Lord
Yes.
shall be as Mount Zion.
Yes.
It cannot be removed, but abideth forever.
Okay.
As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so the Lord is round about his people from henceforth and even forever. And yesterday was the time when your spiritual advisor should have been there for you.
I agree.
To lean on his shoulders. Some spiritual advisor, you have to do better.
Yes, I agree with
Mr.
you.
Monker really needed you yesterday.
I really needed him yesterday.
Absolutely. I
And
felt
Mr.
so bad.
Monker, no weapon that is formed against you
Shall prosper.
shall prosper.
All that rise.
You trust God. The devil is all around. And I want you to know that I appreciate everything that you are doing.
Yes, ma'am.
And don't allow anyone to get under your skin. They're trying to intimidate you so that you would, shut your mouth up.
Yes.
But don't allow it.
Okay.
Because God didn't give us the spirit of fear.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
wants us to step out, and he wants us to step out boldly.
Boldly. Absolutely.
And I want you to do that, and spiritual advisor,
Yes,
please.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Monker, Mr. Monker is a good man.
I believe he is.
He is doing the best he could. We need him in a time like this.
Absolutely.
We only want to hear the truth. And whoever is wrong, because the truth overrides all wrong.
Absolutely.
You cannot be wrong and be right too.
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Monker, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you
Shall fall.
in judgment, thou shalt be condemned.
Absolutely.
So you just trust in the Lord, do what is right, and continue to be the speaker for us. Continue to do what God allowed you to do, because that is your right, what you is doing. All of us have a right. But that don't mean to say that we is right all the time, but that is our God's given right.
This is true.
So let's do it, and let's do it without fear and without contradiction.
Absolutely.
So I trust God that everything would go well with you, and I ask God just to keep you under his wing at all times, keep you covered, and we'll be there for you.
I thank
So
you.
you have a blessed evening, and God take good care of both of you.
Thank you very
God
much.
bless
ma'am.
you, my dear.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Do we have any texts?
We don't have that.
Welcome to Freedom March. Hello?
Hello,
Yes, how are you?
I'm all right. How you doing, Mr. Monka?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm to your spiritual advisor.
How are you?
I'm all right, sir. Did you really sell ice cream?
Well, I managed a few stores back in the late 80s, as a matter of fact, early 90s.
Okay, were those stores based on drugs or what?
What do you mean?
Because he said ice cream. I'm thinking Coke.
No.
No.
Not drugs.
No,
Ice
no.
cream.
No,
Real
no.
ice cream.
Uh-uh.
Oh, real ice cream?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up for the public because some people around me were asking.
Oh, no,
Okay.
no. Ice cream, a real ice cream shop.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. More call? Okay. What happened to my other text line?
The house phone.
The house phone. Yeah. My spiritual advisor, we're not talking about drugs, we're talking about ice cream. The Punch has an interesting story here, and it has to do. Right, thank you. Check for it. Well, let's go back to that Punch story. AG, Attorney General Carl gets go-ahead to sue top PLPs. The word malfeasance must be ringing in the ears of former PLP cabinet ministers, including the chief, ex-PM Perry Christie, and his DPM Philip Brave Davis. Malfeasance sounds like a nasty disease. In fact, the dictionary definition of malfeasance is an act by a public official that is illegal, dishonest, or wrongful, and amounts to corruption and gross negligence. Well, to the Punch, you have to bring evidence. All right? I've seen this tactic carried out before. You would recall that after the F&M came to power in 1992, in 1993, my spiritual advisor, the former Prime Minister, appointed quite a number of commission of inquiries.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, it collapsed. And millions of dollars was wasted in public funds. So, I don't know.
Let me read the text here. Mr. Munker, good afternoon. I was shocked to see a Japanese pharmacist working at Wilmark Pharmacy on Poinciana Drive yesterday when I went to get a prescription filled. We all know that Brown McCartney owned that business, and for someone who is against foreign workers, he should be ashamed of himself.
Well, Brian has always been a citizen who usually get work permit. So even if you see a foreign worker, take it from me, he always gets a work permit.
Here's another text. Good day, Mr. Munker. Why don't you tell Mr. Isaac that he is wrong to threaten to slap the PM? The PM and the former PM are both Catholics, and so are you. Defend your Catholic brother, sir.
My spiritual advisor, what are your views?
Here's the next text. Glennis is the better choice for the leader of the PLP. Ask Papa if he liked that choice.
Next.
Good afternoon, Senator. Oh, well, sorry. We did that already. Good afternoon, Senator. Why didn't Menace insure the custom warehouse?
Didn't insure?
Yeah.
I don't understand that question.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Okay. I don't know if they're referring to the break-in at the custom house
at
the airport.
Okay. Next.
Let's see here. Mr. Munker, the budget debate is completed at the House of Assembly level. Now it's at the Senate level and soon to be completed. My main concern is Freeport Grand Bahama. Is Freeport Grand Bahama getting immediate attention with regard to turning things around economically?
Well, I have facts, just in case you can't find Peter Tain Quest. As of the 1st of July, the budget will come into effect. And so we'll be able to tell what they have in store for Freeport. But at the moment, Freeport is catching hell.
Mr. Munker, good evening. Please kindly speak to the fact that the F&M, when in opposition prior to the May 10th general elections, were responsible for the Public Accounts Committee headed by the Honorable Hubert Chipman, MP for St. Anne's constituency.
Well, that is true. But at all material time, the leader of the opposition, he is the chairman. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, what's on your mind?
Yeah, Mr. Moncor.
Yes.
How you doing, sir?
All right.
Okay, Mr. Moncor, I see you on a talk show.
Yes, I am.
But look here, Mr. Moncor. If you don't be careful of what you say on that talk show, you could be marching directly. Because all you do talk a bunch of foolishness. That ain't no talk show, man. You talking about things you don't know nothing about.
For instance, give me an example of something I spoke about that I don't know.
Everything you talking about
Give me an example.
Nonsense. Nobody don't listen to that.
Give me an example, or I'm going to hang up on you.
Everything.
Okay, then. Bye. Any more calls?
That's not a fair statement.
Huh?
That's the caller was not being fair.
Yeah. I don't want to curse him out. Do I have another caller? Okay. Retext my spiritual advisor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moncur and SA. I texted earlier this month about trying to get my passport at the embassy in Miami. I carried all the documents they asked for. Now they're saying I need my parents' birth certificate.
Well, that is depending on your age. If you were a person born after independence, well, they have to ensure that your parents are citizens. And then you will get your passport. Now, if you're like me, I was born before independence, so they don't need to determine the citizenship of my parents. But anybody who was born after July 10th, 1973, you have to prove that your parents are citizens of the Bahamas. That's it.
Mr. Moncur, working for the local government election in Eleuthera, the MP says that he don't want any PLP work in the polls. So I hope the votes will be counted fairly.
Well, I thought that each candidate were entitled to have agents. So if you are the agent of a candidate, I'm not sure on the local government election laws, but naturally, agents should be permitted. But I'm not too familiar with the local government's law.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moncur and your spiritual advisor. Please keep your eye out on Jack Bay Development Limited a project in South Eleuthera. They were in the newspaper today looking for positions such as a president, executive director of sales, and director of operations. I pray Bahamians are allowed to receive these positions. The island desperately needs it.
Well, this is a government that says if Bahamians are qualified, they will get the job. So make sure that persons are qualified who is applying. And then you have to also recognize that there's been an old game, an old trick that has been played under successive government. And that old trick has been that they go through the formality. It's only a formality so that you can say to the Ministry of Labor, we did advise, but nobody was ever sincere in setting the standard where Bahamians would be qualified. And I'm not talking about a mediocre standard. I'm saying that they just raised the bar deliberately to avoid attracting locals to the job. It's something that needs to be dealt with.
Mr. Moncur, I do not condone wrong, and the people should be told of the wrongdoing of the Progressive Liberal Party. However, the people of this country should thank God for the 4 opposition seats given to us by God, as without an opposition, we would be like communist Cuba. That may be going a bit too far. So in all things, we must give God thanks.
Well, that is true. In a democracy, and we practice the Westminster system of government, an opposition is so important because it keeps the government accountable, and by constantly analyzing and giving critical support, it keeps the government on the right track. That depends on whether or not the opposition is competent. Sometimes an opposition could be lazy and incompetent and don't really do its job.
Good afternoon, Mr. Moncur. I'm in Freeport and I watch you every day. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. You and your spiritual advisor. Lots of love.
Well, we thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen. I think we need something in place going forward. This stealing of our monies would not happen.
Well, that's too vague. I can't answer that.
Good afternoon, Senator. I am currently waiting on Med 1 and 4 payments from NIB also, and I've been getting nothing but stories from last year, March.
Look, call Brenzel Roll. He's a good man. He's the State Minister for National Insurance. All right? He's a good friend of mine. Call him and let him know. I don't know if I can quickly find his numbers here, but I have an assistant. Take this file, find Brenzel Roll number, and let's see what is there.
Let me see what else. Good afternoon, Mr. Munker. Stay strong. I love you, Bowtie. Don't allow these cowards to bully you. You have great support in this nation. I hope the police can retrieve the videotape from the mall. Hold on to your faith. Keep that cross you hold up a few minutes ago around your neck. Be the people's voice of this nation. I'll keep you in my prayers. Freedom March.
I thank you for your kindness. You have more text?
Mr. Munker and Miss... Oh, sorry, that's an old text. Sorry about that. Mr. Munker, I too applied for unemployment and national insurance on May the 2nd, and it's now almost 2 months. Every time I call, they're running me around, and until I get discouraged and forget. But I can't forget because I have bank payments and rent to meet. It's been too long now, and it seems as if nobody cares. Can you help me with this?
Well, I'm going to suggest that you wait until the 1st of July. That's when the budget kicks in.
I think so.
And the $722 million ought to be available, eh? I would think. I have a phone call. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello? Welcome to Freedom March.
Hey, how you doing?
I am fine. How are you?
All right, yes, Special Advisor.
Hi, how you doing?
I thank God for you having him there.
Absolutely.
Yes. So what's on your mind, my love?
This is Marvin Mummy.
Oh, Miss Monroe.
I want to speak to you off air.
Okay. I'm going to put you on hold, and you give the producer your telephone number, and after the show, I'll give you a call, okay?
Thank you.
Don't hang up.
Okay.
Okay.
God bless you. God bless you.
Okay, Miss Monroe.
God bless you too.
Yep.
Yeah. Hello. Welcome to Freedom March. Oh, more text, my spiritual advisor.
Senator, did you hear those threatening voice notes towards you?
Listen, let's stay focused. The issue is not me. It's the people's time. Next.
Okay. Good day, Mr. Munker. Don't be discouraged. Whenever you're on the right track, the enemy always finds a way to silence you. Be of good cheer and know that God is with you, and his hands, they're going to protect you. Grace, mercy, and favor is upon you.
I thank you for those kind words.
Hello, Mr. Munker. First time. Remember the song, Dogs Don't Bark at Parked Cars? The truth is, certainly bothering some of the people.
Yes. I have a number for the Honorable Brenzel Roll, who is the State Minister responsible for national insurance. So you can call him at 242-502-2700. 502-7200. And if you are interested in faxing him, his fax number is 326-6929. 326-6929. That is his fax number. Now, we have more text?
Mr. Munker, no weapons formed against you shall prosper. God will protect you. The Bay Street Boys are back. Gangsterism at its purest.
Wow.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Good afternoon. Please do not call my name. I am a resident of Freeport, and I'm complaining about the road traffic service here on the island. Last week, the Honorable Minister for Road Traffic made the statement that persons will be booked when found in possession without the license plate. However, I made a visit to road traffic yesterday to pick up my plate, I was told it was to be ready at the end of May, and it still has not arrived yet. With the expectation for the said plate to be in Thursday shipment, but no guarantee. Further, the second vehicle in my house license does not expire until September, and the plate has blown away during Hurricane Matthew. And upon this, I went to road traffic to replace the plate and was told there would be no replacement plates as the discs were being changed. Now we have officers attempting to charge persons without these discs and plates when using the roads. Please tell me, what am I to do when the minister is enforcing laws without the proper tools in place?
I'm going to suggest to you that you write the Commissioner of Police. And in this case, I'm talking about the Senior Commissioner of Police responsible for Grand Bahama, Mr. Emmerich Seymour. I hope I'm calling his surname correctly. And tell him your predicament and say, listen, I need permission to keep riding. After I take this call, I'll tell you a similar experience I had in 1990 and how I dealt with it. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Hello? Speak to me. Hello?
Bodyguard, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Mr. Monka.
Sir.
We feels you need a bodyguard, sir.
Really? Why do
Yes,
you think I need a bodyguard?
You need a bodyguard on the chauffeur, sir. You become too big in the Bahamas, sir.
Goodness me.
They're trying to kill you, sir, so you really need to get some protection.
I'm going to say goodbye. Take it care. In 1990, I was faced with a similar situation where the Pinling administration had granted me and a number of senior F&M officials taxi plate. And when I showed up for my taxi, I was then told by the then controller of road traffic, Achinen, that there was no plates printed. And I pointed outside, I said, listen, that's my taxi, and what you want me to do? He said, well, you have to wait until the plates come. I said, no, man, I got to pay these people. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get 2 pieces of cardboard, and I'm going to paint taxi 860. And he looked at me and he said, you know something? You really going to do it? I said, yes. He said, well, we'll license you. And they licensed me, and I was the only taxi in the history of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to go to work with cardboard box on my taxi. Isn't that interesting? You may have to do that. If they can't produce the plates, well, make up your own plates, but get permission. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Rodney Moncur.
Sir? Speak to me. Don't listen to the background.
You remember the name Sam Cox?
Hang up on this man.
You remember the name?
Hang up on him. My uncle, why are you talking to me like that? I want you to talk with me privately. The man who called me is my uncle, Sidney Cox of Freeport, Grand Bahama. My uncle, please do not be afraid. I'm going to be all right. I got report that you were concerned. Listen, I'm going to be fine. The people them love me. All right? My uncle has just called. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Moncur.
How are you, sir?
I can't hear your show today, but I wanted to comment on the budget yesterday.
Wow, you sound almost like the speaker. You're not the speaker, are you?
Pardon me?
You're not the speaker, eh? Because you sound like him.
No, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Moncur.
What is your point on the budget?
I think it's just ingenuous how the Prime Minister is pointing out how a Bahamian gets paid $8 million.
I want you to hold on. I'm about to run out of time. Don't hang up.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Okay.
But keep talking, and when you hear that music cut on, I'm going to cut you off, but you stay on because I'm interested in hearing what you say.
How
but keep
they
talking.
keep pointing out, but a Bahamian get paid so much money. But if American to come over, they would have paid him almost 4 times the amount of money for the same job.
I agree, Joe.
And then when Catalone had the $100 million overrun. Wasn't a
Hold on, I'm coming back. Well, I have an interesting Negro man who's looking and comparing the F&M views on Bahamians making money as opposed to foreigners. Hold on, my Negro brother. Freedom March will be back after the break. And then I'll hear what you have to say.
Do you have something to say to the senator? Call Freedom March at 323-7775. Toll free from anywhere in the Bahamas at 242-300-0045. Freedom March with Rodney Monker, only on ILTV. Freedom March with Rodney Monker.
Welcome back to Freedom March, broadcasting live on ILTV here in Nassau, Bahamas. My name is Rodney Monker, and I'm joined in studio by my spiritual advisor, biblical scholar, Bradley Roll.
Thank you, Senator.
I have a phone call. Sir, are you still there?
Yes, how you doing, Brother Monker? I'm still
Okay,
here.
go ahead. Continue your point.
Yeah, first let me say good afternoon, Bradley Rose. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine. How you doing?
All right, and I want to say my prayers goes out for Bernard Nordich in the situation that he's in.
Okay.
That's kind of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but my concern is during the budget how you find that most Bahamians, or should I say most Bahamians of red color, find it a problem that a Bahamian got paid so much for doing a job that if American that come and do it, they would have paid American about 4 times the amount.
That is true. In fact, that is what caused the Burma Road riots in 1942.
Yes, sir.
Bahamians were not being paid on parity. So you are quite correct.
Now, what baffles me also is that when Jose Catalones said he was going to do the road for 100,000, the road run over 100 million.
Wow.
And nobody said nothing.
Well, now
they told BTC for little or nothing,
listen,
and then it was turned around
I'm
and sold for
compromised.
millions.
Listen, I'm compromised. Just don't call Papa name.
Why not?
Okay.
He was in charge at the time. The original,
I said, don't call
original
Papa name.
contract was 120 million.
No, I won't. Did I call Papa? I'm sorry.
No, you didn't. You didn't.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is they sold BTC for little or nothing, and the people turned around and sold it for millions. A Bahamian couldn't do that.
Wow.
So we are duplicitous when it comes to Bahamian and foreigners.
Well, the problem really is that they do not want to see the average Negro man with money.
That's called the black crab syndrome.
Well, I don't know what kind of syndrome it is. All I know, it is a sin. Anyway.
It is a sin. All right, Brother Monker, you all have a good day. Yeah?
I thank you very much. Is there another call? Let me just go back to something that Philip Brave Davis said. He said how the F&M has come full cycle on VAT. And he said that the F&M always knew where the VAT money went. And interestingly, he pointed out exactly where it went, where the law said must go, in the consolidated funds. And that's where the F&M found it. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm trying to get on to Mr. Monker show.
Speaking.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monker. How you doing?
I am fine, sir. How are you?
All right. I'm calling on something that I very a bit amused of.
Okay.
Especially what that caller called a while ago.
Okay.
You know yourself that anytime a contractor get a job from the government, there's no way in the world that person could get 2 checks in one day.
Okay.
So, and there's nothing wrong with he making a certain amount of money, but it seems unusual that there's some kickback involved.
If you
for
get
these checks to
if you get
out just like a hot cake.
Are you suggesting to me that if you go on a day, let's say you go on Wednesday, and you pick up 2 checks, That something is wrong with that?
I'm talking about how government pay, and you cannot tell me about how government pay because I did contracts with both governments.
Have you ever worked in the public service?
I said I did contract with both governments.
And you've never picked up 2 checks on one day?
No, sir.
What if you had 2 different contracts and you go there at 9 and they say, look here, come back at 12 because the Treasury say it's on its way? Would that be corruption?
Man, the check what you talking about, you ain't talking about no $10,000, you know.
Okay.
You're talking about those checks was over $100,000.
How long it takes to write out $100,000 check? That sounds like plenty of money. Sound like it's a long time.
Well, cleaning up, that isn't no billing he was billing.
Okay.
That's cleaning up garbage.
All right.
And debris.
Okay.
That's totally different.
Well, caller, let me help you up with something.
Yes.
Do you know what kind of checks he was getting? Who the checks were drawn on?
Well, to my understanding, is the person had more than one company.
Listen, but you realize that those checks were not public treasury checks, right?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Right, that's where the confusion comes. Those checks were checks that were drawn on Bank of the Bahamas, and it was a fund for the hurricane cleanup. So
then it was the hurricane relief. The hurricane relief fund.
So those checks were actually being written at a particular center, which would probably be the name of center. So it is possible to get one check or the other check one day and get it the next day. They were not checks that had to be printed by the system.
So in other words,
you
my
realize
spiritual
that, right?
advisor, you was telling me that these checks were not done by the public treasury?
No.
Did the Prime Minister point that out?
I don't know. But that's an interesting point because a lot of times when you get checks through the public treasury, it takes much, much longer.
Anyway, sir,
but
we
thank
you for your observation.
One more question I want to say, and then you can shut me off.
All right.
The reason why I'm concerned about that he getting all this money, and I live in Pinewood Garden. Every Friday, the guys come down this way. You have at least about 20-something drivers. They having almost like a riot down here to collect a couple dollars.
Who pays them? Which agency pay them?
Huh?
Who is responsible?
The same way down there by NEMA.
It's NEMA?
By NEMA.
You better go back to NEMA then because it's the people's time. Okay? I thank you. Hello. Welcome to Freedom March.
Mr. Monka.
Sir.
Man, how
I couldn't hear you.
How are you?
I'm fine.
How is your spiritual advisor?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
We have a big issue in the Bahamas.
What's that?
You see that same PMH?
The Princess Margaret Hospital?
Yes.
Okay.
Thousand skirt. Listen, we got to get that together. We have old people walking from their cars from through the corner to go in there, and they have to wait for long periods of time. Why we can't have a parking lot like how the Point has their 4-story, 6-story parking lot? Why can we not have one of them?
I'm going to talk.
CMH
I'm going to talk to Dr. Dwayne Sands. He's my doctor, and I don't want to say too much bad things about him because he's the man who keeping me alive. Okay, I'll talk to him because I got to go see him.
But it's very serious. We need parking at PMH.
Yes, you are so right. I'll talk to Dr. Sands about it and see if I could get him to come on the show.
And not just renovate inside the building. Knock the building down and build a real hospital.
And where we can put Mama Dem who's sick.
Where we can put Mama Dem?
Yeah.
What you mean where we can put they done shut down half of the hospital?
Really?
What you mean ain't nobody in there? You get wood on them windows? People staying in there?
Oh, I'm not aware. I haven't been in the back of the hospital.
Come on, Mr. Monkey.
Honestly,
you have to walk around the premises.
I asked Dr. Sands for permission. Okay?
Okay.
He's my doctor.
Well, God save the Queen, though.
God save the Queen always. Okay. He sounds like a King George VI Negro. I have somebody else on the phone? No? Okay. And so Mr. Davis pointed out that the VAT money went where the law say, in the consolidated funds. That's where it is. And it goes where all taxes and fees and other government revenues are deposited, the consolidated fund. Why is that so important? Because we are being misled, all right? Praise the Lord for my spiritual advisor. He now points out to me that it was in the public treasury.
Right. See, remember now.
Have you ever gotten contracts from
I was going to explain
NAMO?
this to you. I just recently completed a contract with Urban Renewal, right? And all of these various agencies, they have their own checks. And these checks are drawn on Bank of the Bahamas. So I assume what happens is a bulk of the money is transferred to Bank of the Bahamas and then into these various agencies' accounts.
Okay.
So NAMA would have their own checks. Urban Renewal would have their checks, so on and so forth. So it's possible that you could
Oh, now I see why Minis is upset over it. Goodness me. I was making peace with Algernon Allen, but I have to go into that story. It could very well be that Dr. Minis is being influenced by the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram. You would recall that when Algernon Allen became a minister and he created the various groups, the darlings them, what he called the old people them, Papa has alleged that Algernon had too many accounts. And Papa sent, what is his name? Mark Wilson. And he gave Mark Wilson specific instructions. I bet you all didn't know I know that. I know it. And Papa said to Mark Wilson, frustrate Algernon Allen. So that's what this is all about. Did the PLP establish many accounts? This song identical to the story of Papa, Algernon Allen, and Mark Wilson. But I can leave that alone because, you know, I'm an F&M and they may get mad with me. Any more texts? Any more phone call? So, my spiritual advisor, do you have additional texts?
Let me see.
Because
if there are any more
Mr. Davis pointed out that within days of the election, the chairman of the F&M was casually telling the media, yes, they knew we didn't steal the VAT money. That could be very hurtful for someone to accuse you of malfeasance or misfeasance or thieving. And then after they win, they come back and say, you know something? We only was joking, you know. We know they didn't thief the money. It's just horrible. My spiritual advisor.
Text.
Give me the text.
Good afternoon, Mr. Monica. As a contract worker of Urban Renewal, can I apply for unemployment benefit?
Yes, you can. But now make sure that you are qualified. And then make sure you don't do it repetitiously because the last Negro who did it, Papa prosecuted him. Okay?
Mr. Monica, something has to be terribly wrong with you and the way you're against the F&M.
Oh, no, I'm not against the F&M. I'm a member of the party. I'm just trying to get the party to do what is right. That's all.
So if Menace and the F&M are so corrupt, like you say, then why did you try to run for chairman of the F&M? It sounds fishy to me.
Let me answer that. Because I wanted to lead them away from corruption. Don't forget now, Papa kept me up to date on what was going on, whether or not you believe it.
Do you have any physical evidence on the Prime Minister, as you say he is corrupt, all the monies that the PLP has in the budget debate? I mean, the PLP can get away with anything. I mean, everything, but you're just one-sided. I wonder what your position is.
My position is simply this. If the F&M has evidence of malfeasance, then you prosecute. Nobody's above the law. If you know of any PLP who stole the money, who has done the thing improperly, that is why we have a court. You go to court. But if you stand up in the House of Assembly and prejudice the trial, goodness me, you ain't gonna find no jury. You got evidence? Produce your evidence. Go to court. The PLP can find lawyer. And you have a jury. And the court will make a decision. Don't forget, you know. The PLP charged Fred Ramsey. And while he was on trial, the former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Alexander Ingram, as I sat with him, Papa leaned forward and he said to me, you see Fred Ramsey on trial? He's an innocent man. You heard me? So, you know, life is so strange. And I have some friends who's cursed when I carry on and say that. They say, listen, why you didn't tell Papa then go to the court and stop the case? That's right. So, that's what it is. You have the evidence, you produce it. You don't slander, and so forth. And we now know in this era that there are many FNMs who are not comfortable with just winning. They want to see some people go to jail. All right? And, you know, in the system, you all know how to get people to go to jail unlawfully. Because I am in possession of information, but, you know, I gonna have to be careful. Welcome to Freedom March. Hello?
Hey, Monica, how you doing?
Right here.
Everything good, boss.
Okay.
You're upset today. That's good.
Thank you. What's on your mind?
You look very calm. I'm calling from Bryland.
How Bryland?
I know.
Yes.
When is this building going to be completed over here in Bryland?
Which building?
The administrative office over here. Because it's very poor. We all here working me and doing. And I mean, it's very poor.
Is the construction going on?
No.
What? Why is it not going on?
Stop. View.
And cancel?
View. Okay.
Well,
the company would hire it. The good company would hire the building. The construction over. They just say stop. The construction company is doing it. 5 minutes is very poor because it's not happening over here.
Look,
they need a,
do you know Ricky Mackey?
Contract the individual. I don't know the contract, the person who's involved.
Do you know the member of parliament for Harbour Island?
But I know the member of parliament, they can't do nothing unless whatever they say. Oh, we are the prime minister should do.
Have you spoken to?
I'll be honest with you, but I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
You working on the
I can talk. I can talk to the MP.
You working on homes and our homes and stuff. As administrative over here, I know. I work with the government. We need our building. We need our building over here. We need our building to work.
I can talk to Ricky Mackey. I got to let you go. I know Ricky Mackey, the member of parliament, very well. I'll speak to him about it.
Please ask him that and continue. The people don't buy all the material to do the building. That ain't continue with the contract, please.
Okay, then.
All the materials over here ready to go.
Okay, thank you. I'll talk to Ricky.
We need to live in the building. We need to wait, Mr. Manga.
I agree with you. I'm going to talk to Ricky Mackey.
We need to wait. Comfortable, and I can tell you, I work on Gulf Card. I work on Gulf Card.
Okay, you take good care. I'll talk to Ricky. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Manka and my spiritual advisor.
How you doing?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
We're fine. What's on your mind, darling? Listen to me.
Mr. Manka,
yes.
You know what you need to say to these people, which is our people? Guess what? The PFP do a good job at everything with gone in the years gone by.
Yes.
Now, the FNM looking at it as a something wrong.
You know what I'm going to do?
Guess what?
I'm going to ask.
The PFP did well with everything. That only putting the country back in bills and bills and bills and bills.
I'm going to ask Dr. Dwayne Sands if he can come on the show.
So when we can be better off in life.
And see if he can answer some of these questions. How that sound? Huh? I'm going to bring some FNMs. Okay?
Yeah, man. Okay, I agree with you, but they need to start doing better. They need to be friends anyhow, because they talking a bunch of...
Okay, take good care.
Bye.
All right. Hello, welcome to Freedom March. Okay. Bradley,
text.
Read your last text, and I want you to call for peace. I want you to tell Minky Isaac, peace in the name of the Queen. All right? So read that text quickly.
This text says, is there any statute...
Is there any statute?
Of limitation on missing funds from the government?
I don't know. I'll have to examine the law. I know there's no statute of limitation on murder, but I don't know. I'll have to find that out.
Good afternoon, Senator. Didn't the FNM say that they would get rid of Carnival? But I heard the minister said he is privatizing it.
Well, look, the FNM has to be careful because Carnival could be the leading to a cultural revolution. The young people don't taste Carnival. and they like it. And so they have to be very careful.
Senator, tell your advisor, if Minky have to apologize, then all those persons that disrespected the former Prime Minister needs to apologize as well. Just saying. We had a show where we dealt with that. And of course...
We did?
Yeah. Whoever it was that said those things...
In the next 6 minutes, I want you to call for peace. I want you to tell our Negro people there is no need for violence. There's no need for insults and threats. Tell them.
Mr. Monica, I find it very difficult to understand why is it that in this country, especially in the political forum, that there seems to be a low tolerance for those who share a different view and opinion politically. I believe that if you share a difference of political opinions and views, that we all should be able to coexist.
Let's take this call
in this country.
Welcome to Freedom March.
Hello, Mr. Manco.
Sir.
Good evening, sir. How you doing? And to Mr. Spiritual Advisor
Good
himself.
afternoon. How you doing?
All right, my brother. Mr. Manco, I wasn't going to call, you know, but I mean, I've been listening, right?
Yes.
And as you know, if you are familiar with the courts, there's a scale that they usually have that represents justice. And listen to some of the views and opinions. The scale is really tipping.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? It's not coming across as being fair.
What do you specifically mean?
I'll tell you the reason why I say that. You know, you have to realize something. The Bible says God sets up and he puts down.
Okay.
Okay? Now, you or others may not like to know that Mr. Hubert, Dr. Minnis, is the Prime Minister. But the truth of it is, God doesn't make a mistake. Even the former Prime Minister of the PLP said, the ways of the people as the ways of God.
Well, that is... Hold on a second. Hold on a second. My spiritual advisor, in Holy Scripture, is the voice of the people the voice of God?
Yes, it is.
It is?
Yes, it is.
And can you find the book of the Bible where I can read that?
Yeah, I can read it.
Okay.
I can read it. It's not a problem.
Can I continue?
Go ahead, my brother.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You may continue.
Yes, sir. And you have to be very careful, Mr. Monco. You know when the Bible says in Romans chapter 13, it says that
what?
persons are being elected to serve as governments, servants, ministers. They are ministers of God, you know. And you're not supposed to speak evil of your leader.
Give me an example where I spoke...
And that's in the scripture, sir.
Hold on a second. Give me an example where I spoke evil of my leader.
Well, I have heard you on numerous occasions with your talk shows. You saying that you're cursing out, in other words, where you're in disagreement.
Tell me where I have spoken evil.
Well,
if I say, hold on a second. No. Hold on a second. Hold him for a second. If I say that Dr. Minnis did not disclose or declare, that isn't talking evil unless it is a lie. Bring him back.
I'm here.
I'm saying to you that if he did not disclose in accordance with the law, and I point that out, that isn't talking evil. It is when I deliberately lie on him. That's evil. That's wicked. That's sinful. I've not done that.
Now, Mr. Munker, in your, like what you're saying right now, right? And I want you to listen very carefully. I'm not trying to be critical to you or anybody.
No. I don't mind you being critical. I only want you to be honest in your criticism. That's what I'm saying.
And as a listener to your show, I enjoy it and what's not. But, people looking for fair balance. There are a lot of evidence that came forth of those persons that had mishandled our money under the former administration.
Okay.
And what you have to realize, in the court of law, you have to understand, Mr. Minnis was hired by the populace of the Bahamian
people. There is no doubt about that.
Okay, listen, sir. And the other thing I want to say is this. The PLP is going to be judged by the court of the law, which is the Bahamian people. Now, Mr. Minnis has a mandate.
You're not
and
talking...
he does not carry the mandate. The Bahamian people has the right to say, look, we want you for the next 5 years.
Listen, the clock is running out on me.
He has a job to do. And all I feel like, in all fairness...
Call me back tomorrow, early.
To serve, time to do a job. Now, if these persons are being found wanting, let them come before the courts of law. And if they've been found guilty, let the court put judgment upon them where it belongs. All I'm saying...
Call me tomorrow. Call me tomorrow. Time is running out on me. I only have 2 more minutes.
2 seconds.
That's 2 seconds?
No. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Directly, there's no passage in the scripture that says...
But my spiritual advisor...
Just give me a second. You would not be fair and allow people to explain themselves.
But you told me it was there.
You did some injustice to the caller just now. Listen
What
very
is the
carefully.
injustice?
There is no passage in the Bible that you can go to where you can find directly the voice of the people is the voice of God. But there is inference. Let me read something for you.
Let me hear the inference.
Romans chapter 13 says this. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against authority is rebelling against what God has instituted. You see what I'm saying?
Hold on a second.
The government has the power, and if you speak against the government, it's just like you speak against God.
That is not the context. This is a parliamentary democracy established by God. And in a parliamentary democracy...
How are they elected?
In a parliamentary democracy, we're running out of time.
Yeah.
You make sure you come back to work
How
tomorrow.
are we elected? How is the government elected?
The people go to vote.
Okay.
But to say that the voice of the people is the voice of God...
It's not biblical.
It's not biblical.
Right.
And you talk
but
about...
There is inference.
Don't do that. You tell me what the scripture says.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Other than that, when you add on...
I understand. You can't add, you can't subtract.
But that's what you're not Negro man.
But you can extract.
No.
You can do an eisegesis and you can do an exegesis.
My spiritual advisor, you are here to tell me truthfully.
All right, what the Bible says.
What the Bible says.
All right.
Because when you add on, it is the works of the devil. You hear what I tell you? And that's all I'm trying to say to you. I didn't like how you support the devil's position.
I just wanted to bring that point across.
Yeah.
We can continue this tomorrow.
You coming to work tomorrow?
Absolutely.
Listen, see me tomorrow. We're going to cut things straight. F&M all together. F&M.
It's the people's time.
The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by Rodney Monker, his guests, callers, and advisors on Freedom March are not necessarily those of the management, ownership, or production unit of ILS, the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without the express written consent of the Verizon Media Group. Freedom March is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2017. All rights are reserved.
Yeah, this your man, I hate